It's going to be Ash Sombra on both sides.
Yep, alright, so do have the mirror. We'll see who comes out on top here. Godsby. It's always been a bit of a hit scan. God, Prophet recently trying to remind us how strong his is. That might just going to be consumed. As Marvel gets slept, Bionated and Prophet going to be taken down. The headshot comes through. Godsby finds a double tap to get the kill. Toby in position though. Safe enough to bring the res through. Point contested for now. Bionated out of the 2. There's a hack onto Bebe and he'll be taken out. Fitz manages to find that kill. Might be enough to try to break through here, but res comes thin. As that res comes out onto the Onyx, which we're going to be taken down, but it will be a trade out on the main tanks. And Marvel falls as well. The Wrecking Ball there, and Hangzhou Spark will be able to lock down the point here at the start. QQ, however, going to be pushed back. Jumped on by 2U. He doesn't manage to find that kill, but now will get knocked out from Mech himself. Res comes in, puts Robin back into the mix of things. As we see Fitz has to leap back. The EMP's nearly online for both of these Sombras. Architect going to be getting his up just a little bit faster as he takes down Marvel yet again. The Seoul Dynasty have to go ahead and peel back.
Yeah, this is a problem that Seoul Dynasty has had. A lot of these matches they've lost this year, including that finals against the Shanghai Dragons, is just not knowing when to leave. They're a team that has mechanical gods, including 2U. You know, their newest member to the roster. He's considered to be a really strong off-tank player, flex-tank player who's mechanically skilled. I think he believes that himself. Staggered here, but you've got to know when to leave.
Yeah. Well,
and that was too late.
Yeah, they play really far forward here against the Seoul Dynasty, all the way back towards their spawn. EMP was committed to the fight by Architect, managed to catch about 3 people with that one. They find the cleanup, so Hangzhou playing away from the point. Very nicely done as they go ahead and stretch above 60% now.
It's a team, you know, and Seoul Dynasty's always been this way, of big egos, right? And when you're playing these scrappy team fights, you know, sometimes you feel like you can turn it. I'm better than Architect, I'm better than Godsby, I can turn this fight. But then you lose it, and suddenly you're at 75-0, you've only got one team fight chance left here with this EMP. We've got one shot at this.
EMP comes in, manages to catch both of the tanks, and it kills the follow. The follow-up hack there on Ignition. They do manage to take him down before the hack expires, so he can't pop the Primal Raid. Struck comes in now from QOQ looking for a pick, won't be able to find one, but he creates enough space for Mika to get into position. Bring the res out onto Gushway. Bomb up over the top, 2U looking for a pick, will not find one. Safely will remech. Marvel's going to be slept, Biotic goes out, Bebe takes him down. We're into overtime now, Hangzhou Spark still holding the point. Fitz tries to turn it, gets rid of the Baby Diva. You have to stay in this one, keep it contested. The flip will come through, Seoul Dynasty finally on the board, but how long will that last? 2U going to be hacked, they push forward to bring him out of the mech. They will manage to do so. Hangzhou Spark back in control, only 5% built up for the Seoul Dynasty. He managed to touch right before the OT bleeds away. So fighting tooth and nail to get this back into the Maven. Banana Boost is available from Bedosian. We'll see who he wants to toss it out on, or maybe he actually could hold on to it for a little bit longer, it would seem, as they do manage to find 2 more picks here on the back end.
But they have to use the nano, they have to use the EMP in order to hold on to this. Even if they do hold it, Architect can hold his EMP and then come back in to finish it off. So this is the toughest fight Seoul Dynasty is going to have. Yet, if they can win it, there's a chance here.
Nano has to be used to keep Marvel alive. Not hacked, almost got melted. Goes in, pile driver, not going to be able to connect with anything, almost has that minefield. Another hack comes through, he's trying desperately to retreat over to the Mega Pack, just cutting down everybody pushing forward. The Dynamite now finds Bomb, and Rising gets Bomb online. The Hangzhou Spark straight back in onto the point, trying to get this flip. EMP comes through, it finds 2 on the Seoul Dynasty, only 1 on the side of the Hangzhou Spark. QOQ will not be team-backed off the back of that. Boyd's still staying alive here for the Seoul Dynasty as nobody takes these guys with the Valkyrie, but Fitz will fall. So far not going to be able to find a pick-off. Gushway is beating and batting 2U away from that cliffside.
Architect's target selection of his hacks was he shut down 2 several times, prevented him from escaping, prevented him from boosting away, shut down Marvel on the Wrecking Ball, and the Wrecking Ball pick ends up being fairly weak against the Sombra, who's constantly hounding him down, constantly tracking him, so Marvel had a really hard time. Architect is having a great match here so far, and
oh man,
that happened.
Just styling on him. Drops over on
he messed up his pile drive.
He's already at 53%! Look at his ult charge!
It's insane.
Unbelievable! Point's not even unlocked yet, and the guy's at 60% towards his minefield. Marvel has rejoined back into the fray until you get antied. Taken rather low here, and will get team back right in the last second before that Bionate expires. Quick goes back in, gets the pile driver down, avoids Marvels. about to have this minefield online. This guy is putting on a clinic right now with this Wrecking Ball. He's gonna, if you think the names away, I would think that this is maybe, you know, Among right now, but Gushue is just looking phenomenal.
I mean, getting an early kill like that is definitely going to help your ult charge, and also meant the Seoul Dynasty had to wait for Marvel's return, and Marvel's return had to be quick too, and a little bit haphazard because, you know, they needed to have the even numbers, so positionally they were at a disadvantage. Risky play here from Fitz doesn't pay off. Architect hasn't done very much damage though. It's really been Gushue and Bebe leading the charge in terms of that. But he doesn't have that EMP ready to defend.
Does not. It does not matter. Looking for the hack here on the Marvel, he's still being taken rather low. 2U is going to be gone, so they don't have that D-Matrix to help mitigate the incoming damage from the Hangzhou Spark. Minefield now going to be plopped down. They jump on top of the high ground there against Fitz. Being kept alive for the moment. Looks like he was able to translocate out. Now nearly has that EMP ready to go, but Seoul Dynasty can get something done on this point pretty soon here. 15% already on the board for the Hangzhou Spark.
I can't believe they both lived. Gushue and QQ both lived with like less than 100 health. And Seoul Dynasty can't engage now, they can't commit. They have Fitz ready and waiting. But he doesn't have a translocator where he wants it.
Oh, they got a sleep dart on the Marvel, commit to self-destruct just to take him down. I'm now going to be tossed by Gods via the EMP strikes from the side of the Seoul Dynasty.
This is a really good fight setup here for Hangzhou Spark. Seoul Dynasty needs to disrupt it somehow. They can't just take this sitting down. And it's going to be a really hard fight here because of that EMP advantage for the Spark.
Nano Boost goes out on the Gushue, keeps him off. He finds a headshot on the Fitz, but will be a trade on his Bebe falls. Nano Boost going to be used this on a profit. Dynamite goes forward. He's looking for a pick. Hasn't been able to find it. Everybody's peeling back out of his line of sight. Gyochu pushes up. This comes in from Dobby. Really aggressive res. It does cost him. Constantly strikes down to 2 members of the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Now a third as Marvel will fall as well. No tank line to point back in their control. 84% here for the Hangzhou Spark. Seoul Dynasty now in one-fight territory for getting shut out of this map.
Yeah, and with the Minefield and Bob available here for Hangzhou Spark, they can sort of zone Seoul Dynasty out. Gushue needs to be careful. He's going to retreat back and get that healing. Seoul Dynasty have to fight, they have to engage right now. They cannot wait.
Yeah, they get on the point with Marvel, going to be eliminated before he can use a Minefield. Now 2U tagging in, forced back. V-Max, EMP comes out from Fitz, but instantly has to translocate out to safety. There's just no one in position to really follow up. Get in there, try to get the res, but bomb in the back will find Profit. Now Marvel going to be taken down. So we're going to be floating around with that Valkyrie, but it's looking for an opportunity to try to get onto the point, and he just cannot do it. I don't know about you, Wolf, but my feed froze. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, mine too. Okay, I was about to ask you, I'm like, we had to play professional caster chicken where like we both pretend like nothing went wrong for a second, but yeah, it's all good now.
All right, it's taken care of. Everything's fixed, and we're back in. We've got motion. Profit getting some really nice little taps in. As Gesture is just going to be sitting up top here, helping to gatekeep Gushue and QOQ off that high ground. So good anti-dive coming in from the Widowmaker. Quite a bit of damage through. Push up yet again. Snapping away at each other as 2U falls a little bit low. That pocket healing will start to come in as Benosian surges up towards that first nano boost here. With a nice little 30% mod lead over Bebe for the moment. Profit just waits for his moment to click ahead and take somebody out of the fight instantly. See,
really struggling. There's a Nano out.
Got the flick there onto Gosby. Nano will go ahead and help take down Bebe. Toby will fall. Playing the correct part of the rose here, going around the side of the pillar, trying to get the kill. Mika finally will fall. And looks like QOQ doesn't really have anywhere to go. Not a position to try to stagger the Baby Diva, so they will just go ahead and finish him off. Meanwhile, Gushue does use that primal range back over towards the card, but it's not really going to net him much. And exit jumps back over to safety with the rest of his squad. But as far as ult economy, right now it's very much in the hands of the Seoul Dynasty.
It definitely is, especially with that primal being committed there. I mean, Mika had a Valkyrie coming online, and had he survived a little bit longer, maybe they could have turned it, but I mean, that was really wishful thinking. Fitz is actually in a really nice spot here, and this EMP should be very, very impactful. Seoul Dynasty should be able to do this very ult efficiently too. They might only use this and the primal rage, if even the primal. As Hangzhou Spark is just trying to farm up the last 25% of their own.
EMP with the bomb, drops in straight on top of Bebe's head, and the man can find the kill. A little bit more on the follow-up. Nano Boost was used before Bebe got eliminated. Toss that one out onto Gushue. Mika finds the res onto Bebe, and the res comes into Shinobi on the Profit. can straight back into the fight. Godby does manage to get rid of Fitz, but will just be a trade out. Very back and forth, very scrappy here in the extended fight. Seoul Dynasty trying to stop the cart. For now, we'll be contesting it right at the top of this ramp. It comes out of the underpass. Profit for now is going to be uncontested. It's another shot, follow-up body tag there onto the Baby Diva to finish off QOQ. And again, Hangzhou Spark going to have to go for a reset. 1 minute and 20 seconds now remaining.
I mean, the good news for Hangzhou Spark is that they have an EMP here, you know, and Seoul Dynasty used way more ultimates than I think they would have wanted to, and it was a really nice fight for Hangzhou in that regard. But the bad news for Hangzhou is this is their one chance, and a nice translocate spot here, but not going to work out, not going to get that kill. But Architect is the man right now. He's the only one who holds the cards here for Hangzhou Spark. The opportunity of a cap on A really lies in his hands. The fate of his team here on this attack is in his hands as Fitz just waiting, gaining information.
Way up into that high ground, gets almost picked off. Bebe now hacked in the back line. The dive comes through. They capitalize, taking down that Ana. Now looking for the follow-up. They will find that Mercy. So without support are the Hangzhou Spark. So run back though as you will get defect and finished off. Hack comes in as the EMP strikes. Catches 2 members on the side of this whole Dynasty as Gesture. Wraps around the backside, keeps himself out of harm's way. Hart rolls forward. Moves up here to the top of the ramp, and Spitz will be contesting for the time being as they wait for Chiyu to rejoin back into the fight. Protect on the high ground, looking to farm up as best he can for another EMP, but Vince has one of his own. The self-destruct nearly there for Chiyu as well, so that combo is almost ready to go. Profit looking for that Ash. So far hasn't been able to find him, and they just won't touch the card. Yeah, I mean, trying to pull off a fuller hold is not going to be too easy. Profit's going to go back over onto the Widowmaker here for the attack, where Godsby is still on the Ash, which is a bit of a head-scratcher for him, given his history as a Widowmaker player. Would expect him at least to be running it on defense, where he's going to have the superior sightlines to play around, but is just fully opting out of that. He wants to play more in the mid-range. That being said, does find a headshot with a boost of damage on a Profit, so the res will be forced here from Toby. Profit just making his way up around the side, and Godsby is making me eat my words as he comes up with yet another kill, this time on a
He keeps killing Fitz. It's insane how often he kills Fitz. He gets spy checked by QOQ and then blown up by Architect, or I should have blown up by Godsby. Sometimes it's actually spy checked by the Dynamite from Godsby as well. He's just constantly tracking him. I don't think he wants to take this duel against Profit here in this case, but Seoul Dynasty is slowed to a halt here for the start.
Are still moving steadily.
I'm out of here.
To the far side of that underpass, getting ready to now move up. Let's be a regroup here for the Seoul Dynasty, playing with the time that they have available to them. Mana boost comes in, they dive way deep into the back, and Bebe will fall. Could not get a sleep guard out. Tuyu is just going to be profiting, scooping up those kills. Manages to find 2 of them. Just still zapping away. Falls low, doesn't have that primal up yet, but the kills will start rolling in to keep him in the fight. Now he can reaggress, going back into the server room and try to get that ult online. Spots out Miko with a kill here on the Mercy, but can't quite find her. Will take him out to safety. Way, trying to alleviate some pressure, jumps on top of Profit and Toby and will force them back. Has to exit himself, but now both Winstons in the next fight going to be having those primal rages available.
Yeah, and Fitz is going to have an EMP. This is going to be the big problem that Hangzhou Spark has to deal with. Bebe cannot get hacked. He has to have that nano boost. It's absolutely imperative that Gushman gets his full health pool here. He can't get hacked either if he can help it. He's going to have to play passively. If he gets hacked, it's all over.
They're going to strike first, and nano boost goes out. There's a sleep dart connected from Padoshin onto Gushman as soon as he went in for the dive. Primal now going to be popped. Batter Padoshin around, but he can't quite isolate him into a corner and just has to exit. The Bionade forcing him back. Another sleep connects, they wake him up. Comes down here onto the low ground. EMP comes out, Gushway instantly eliminated. 2 other members hacked on the side of the Hangzhou Spark as the Bob tries to chip away at whatever it possibly can, but he's not getting any meaningful damage in. He has enough space to put Gushway back into the fray. His Architect will get a hack, will get a finishing blow now onto Gesture. Out their main tank, Seoul Dynasty. Push forward, they're looking for the res. Toby can't quite get it though. Godsby finds that headshot. A hack on the Profit will ensure his demise as well. Down to 1 minute and 10 seconds, just 1.79 meters away. Seoul Dynasty are going to have to take another crack at this.
Yeah, this was actually a really nice defense for the Hangzhou Spark. Everything looked Seoul Dynasty favored. They had the EMP. They wasted the Nano and the Primal Rage before using the EMP. still weren't able to get the kills they needed. They still weren't able to finish off the Hangzhou Spark in their most dire moment. And now the ult economy pendulum has swung back into the favor of the Hangzhou Spark. Seoul Dynasty don't have great tools to open up this point anymore. They're going to look for a Bits hack kill again, just like we saw before on their defense. Trying to kill us, they get the translocator.
Find Architect, 7 HP, can they take him down? The EMP is going to come out, manages to find both of the main tanks on the side of the Seoul Dynasty. The res is there instantly from Nico to put him back into the fight. Fantastically done there. That might just be enough to shut down the Seoul Dynasty. Makes his way back into the mech, but already, had to use that self-destruct just to ensure that he can get back in. Prophet under fire in the back line will be taken down, and suddenly it looks like the Hangzhou Spark might be able to pull off this fuller hold.
It looks like they're going to.
Kobe's got nowhere to go. There's 6 seconds remaining. Somebody's going to tag. It's going to have to be Fitz. Prophet swaps over onto the Ash. Kobe's going to be eliminated now, and Gesture is gone. They get the tag on the cart.
Unbelievable.
Back down. It's going to be Fitz. He tags it yet again, but he is dead on arrival. The bomb comes out. The Yoti will bleed away, and oh my goodness, they have actually done it. Hangzhou Spark.
Sombra can harass the backline, but also can kind of like heal for your team as you kind of slowly try to get on the point. If this team gets on the point, if Hangzhou gets onto A, they kind of win the fight no matter what.
Yeah, I mean,
So
that's already a
scary
D-Mech on the 2U. And this is exactly what they're looking for. Just make sure that they can't mitigate with the defense matrix and just have the Reaper bust people down. It's a good start, but Prophet finding IDK gives them their mobility. Taking down that move speed. Obviously, the tanks still have high mobility, being able to dive forward as Fitz does get hacked and eliminated by Architect. Might outwork it a little bit of damage, but it's going to have to be a recontest here for the Seoul Dynasty as they will lose Fedosha now on the back end. And
They're just going to let it go,
I think. A concession rather of point A.
I'm out of here.
As they're just not in a position to try to capitalize and get back in. So it's going to be over 5.5 minutes now in the time bank for the Hangzhou Spark. Absolutely massive for them as they go into the street space.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, you get the hack on to you, and then he can't D-Matrix the damage coming up for Adorcia. Then they get onto the point, and then Gesture just can't contest. They can't win any trades. And on A is just going to be wonderful and brilliant. Now on the street space here, it's not going to be as effective. You're going to get outranged, you're going to get outpoked. Adora's going to have a hard time here. You're going to try to engage him, and you can see the teleport dive coming through here, basically.
Soul safe, so 2 ults kind of tossed in, but the card has been free moving for the time being, but this is around the time where things can start getting locked up.
Yeah, and Soul just can't let Adora walk up to, the end of the bridge and fight on B. You can't just walk up there. That can't be allowed to happen.
Goodbye. IDK gets absolutely obliterated. Hack into the stomp, takes him down. Attack here on the 5th, but he will be able to survive, and now they have this choke control of the card just right around the archway. It's going to be a very dangerous position for the Hangzhou Spark to get held up. They do nearly have that Death Blossom EMP combo. Now is ready to roll.
It's just so hard to execute that.
Break in.
Yep. Hack onto Bob early in the fight. Architect looking for an EMP setup here, but Seoul Dynasty just aren't giving him the ground he needs, and the rest of his team is dying while he tries to get that perfect setup. I mean, Death Blossom is an ultimate that you can't rely on. You can almost never in professional Overwatch across the years, outside of like the Beyblade meta in 2016-17, like you could never rely on a Death Blossom being your initiation, your point of attack. If you're relying on that, especially when your opponent's got high ground like this, you're running a risky composition. You're using a really risky style of play. And I think Hangzhou Spark should have considered swapping earlier. I mean, they have a huge time bank, but it's falling by the wayside quickly.
EMP does come through from Architect, only manages to find Prophet, who will be taken out pretty quickly, and 2U will not be allowed to remech. Gesture, however, half HP with the primal range as it gets ready to expire, jumps up here onto the high ground, recontests against Watchpoint. Nearly gets the kill, forces the primal, but will be taken down by QOQ in the end. Joe Spark looking like they will be able to break through here at the back end of this fight, as Watchpoint goes pretty deep into the back lines and has certainly overstepped. Let's get finished off.
Hey, look at Adora's position.
Oh,
his position is... Yeah, he was up on the high ground there. And, I mean, he can use this ultimate to prevent Seoul Dynasty from regrouping. There's the nano.
He's down. Death Blossom, he's going to be pushing in, but everybody is already peeled away from him. So Death Blossom not going to be able to fight too much. He's not getting that much damage in. Now gets on top of Gesture, who desperately tries to get over to the Mini Pack. But even if he had found that, likely would have still fallen. The HP return on that is not too great. The cart will be allowed to move up here into point B. With 3:45 remaining on the clock for the Hangzhou Spark. So it was a decent time buy here for the Seoul Dynasty. They certainly did chip away at that massive time bank that Hangzhou started with. But now it's all about denying a finish of the map. EMP is nearly there for Fit. They're going to have a bomb. They do have a couple delay tactics here to try and win a fight. The Struck, however, comes down first with UOQ. Everybody ducks around the corner behind the pillars, keeping himself safe. The bomb goes in. Just you're knocked up in the air. Let's get finished off. See there from Baby. EMP now comes through. Fitz managing to catch the front line yet again, but rolls back. They wait out the EMP. It's an absolutely huge one now from the side of Architect. Manages to find 4. And the 2 are going to be gone. Now 2 going to be popped out of the mech as well before he can get that self-destruct online. And suddenly, really, the Hangzhou Spark will just be able to roll in with a still very healthy time bank here.
Yeah, this is going to be insane.
Somebody's got to get there, but they can't. 256.
256.
Moves off the Ash, now goes in for the McCree, gets the Panther Hammer, back into the flashbang there around the corner, but not enough to try and take down Gujway. A nice sleep dart connects onto IDK to get the Bionate, but a little bit of follow-up damage to finish him off, and they're unable to find it, so he will be able to stay alive. Dora pulled back with a Wraith Walk. He joins in with the rest of his team, moves up around that corner, 36 HP remaining. He'll start coming through, they can't finish him off. Profit hack at the back out and gesture. Gets jumped on, has a sliver of HP and gets finished off. IDK striking back, finding some vengeance for nearly getting eliminated. The Seoul Dynasty are now going to have to reset. Almost got a first tick here on point A, but it doesn't work out in the end as IDK continues to frag out of control.
I mean, I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding of Seoul Dynasty of their composition versus Reaper. If you're going to run the McCree, you need to slow push, give McCree sight lines, and just try to chip away. If the tanks commit in, you burst them down. If they don't, you chip away at the Reaper. And Prophet dies again early, you know? And this is the end of this push. You're going to have to wait for a reset. And you cannot be here in Primaling. I don't know about this one, Gesture. Oh
yeah,
my god.
A big question mark for me. Makes his way over. The point going to be contested at the moment of, minor little back tap coming through, but Gesture lands, getting nothing done with the Primal Rage. We still had so much time. EMP now comes in from Architect. Just multiple members, 4 going to be hacked on the side of the Seoul Dynasty, and Rob just gets eliminated by the solo bomb committed to the fight. Red will come in, but Dora drops straight on top of Tadoshi's head, pops the Death Blossom, finds the kill. We are going into some weird backwards land right now, Wolf, as the fight is all over the place. The dive comes in from the tanks, they get rid of Prob, and Toby is going to fall, and I don't know what is going on anymore.
Well, I have to say we're seeing a very weak performance from Prophet right now.
What is this bizarre reality?
And when you see this is a weak performance of Prophet's McCree. I mean, when you fan the Hammer or Reaper, who you can't really kill unless you hit everything perfectly, he's gonna Wraith away. Like when that's your game plan, I'm like, why are you playing? Why aren't you just gonna play Mei then? If that's what you want to do, like you gotta outrange him. They're so frustrated. They've swapped themselves to the Reaper to try to get the mirror, but now they have the problem. They're crashing into an EMP here.
Yeah,
this is almost checkmate for Seoul Dynasty.
They had to sleep dart to try to set up for the Deadeye, but they're woken up. There yet again. Now Architect has another EMP, throws that forward. EMP comes down, catches 3 members. Nano Boost was used by Bedosian beforehand, however, on the Fitz. This one goes into the back line. Dora going to manage to take down Gesture moments before he gets that Primal Rage online. Fitz will also fall, and suddenly it's 24 seconds left for the Seoul Dynasty as Prophet desperately tries to stay alive, but they are chasing him down. And it looks like
that's all she wrote.
Another full hold at the hands of the Hangzhou Spark. They get the forward hold on Gibraltar, and now Seoul Dynasty, with a 62% win rate, I believe, on this map, are just kept inside the spawn. No one can leave. Prophet manages to get rid of Gujway. Gesture makes his way over onto the point to force up the OT with the rest of his Primal Rage, but now he is by himself. He is focus fired, and somebody needs to tag. I just don't think they're going to be able to do it, and they absolutely cannot. Hangzhou Spark pull off a 3-0 sweep over the Seoul Dynasty, and man, it wasn't even close.